So what was the last thing we said, guys?
It's witchcraft.
Witchcraft. Getting these 12 sons and Dinah in competition between the sisters, Rachel and Leah.
Yeah.
But we're birthing out the 12 tribes. Because God said he would bless the seed and disperse them throughout the entire earth. Right? Correct? Okay, so Apostle was asking me, what does all this mean? You know, how does all this making sense? We started off talking about Deuteronomy 30, chapter 30, verse 1 to 3, talking about how God was going to exile them based on their behavior, but he was going to bring them back and have compassion on them and bring them from their captivity. And we wrap it around to Jesus, knowing that he came to save the lost sheep. Matthew 15, 24. Let me get over there for y'all. I want to make sure the scripture you're quoting is saying what you're saying. Matthew chapter 15, verse 24 says, one little reference, not taken out of context. It says, but he answered, because he was talking to everybody, and he said, I'm not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Right? That's letting us know that Jesus came to gather all of the sheep that had been dispersed throughout all the nations. He wasn't just for the Jews. He was for everybody.
Right.
Okay, so back to our Torah portion, Vayetzei. Jacob has got the idea that he's ready to move on and return to his father's house, because that was the promise that was made to him. When he vowed that vow, if you keep me, you clothe me, and you return to me to my father's house, then I'm going to pay you everything I have. And he had been doing that. So God, of course, came down and says, it's time. But he didn't do it in the right way. He snuck out. Laban didn't find out until 3 days later. He was like, you've absconded with my family. These are my daughters. These are my children. And you've run away with them. He said, I could kill you had not the Lord sent a dream of me not to harm you, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Now, how in the world does this man, Laban, feel like he has the right to come to that man, Jacob, and say, you stole my family?
Right.
How does that make sense, guys? 5 minutes. I got to do this in 5 minutes.
Because of the patriarchal system.
Exactly. The patriarchal system. I'm stealing her coffee. The patriarchal system says the father of the house is the father of them all. Since he was in Laban's house, they rightfully did belong to him. And once he goes back home to Israel, to Isaac, they'll become Isaac's. But he has to get to that side of the border. So they made a vow, right? They made a vow between each other. And people walk away like, may the Lord watch. It's not a good thing. Because he's like, you better hope God is watching your back. Because if he ain't watching your back, I'm coming for you. So it's really, we love to say that, but it was meant, originally it was meant in the context of we are at odds.
Especially because he's like, if I hear you do anything to my daughters, it's like,
we've been serving you for 20 years. You know his character.
Yeah, 20 years, so he's not a violent man.
Exactly. Okay, so we've kind of made it through chapter 31.
All right.
Oh, let's just make some notes, because we just got to throw it out here. Rachel steals the idols. Why did she do that, class?
Because she's an idol worshiper.
She is an idol worshiper, but
They were worth money.
they were worth money, but those idols,
To bless their house.
she was stealing the blessing, right, out of the house, because she didn't want them to be blessed anymore. But that's what she was doing. She was taking the blessing out of the house, which is why he came after it. Because even though he knows that God has been blessing Jacob, he's still chasing these idols. He already said, I know that God has been with you these years that you've served me. Except the God, we're at chapter 31, verse 42. Except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac have been with me. Surely you have sent me away now empty. God has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands and rebuked you last night. Now, Jacob does something that may not have been a good idea. Didn't know what was going on in the house, and he just said out of his mouth, whoever's got the idols, let death fall on them. And it eventually hit Rachel.
Right. But she said that. Didn't she say that?
Well, Rebecca had told him, if this be wrong, let the curse fall on me. But he was talking to his, that was Rebecca, let the curse fall on me. But Jacob said, if the idols be found in anyone, let death fall on them. And then he was talking about Rachel.
Okay.
What did I say? Rachel? Okay, well anyway,
Are we
guys,
talking about Rebecca or Rachel in this?
we're talking about them all.
Okay.
Because he says, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So we can't read the Bible and not think about who was Abraham, who was Isaac. We have to talk about them all.
Right, right. Mm-hmm.
There are no wrong answers here. Anyone else? Comments? Questions?
Let me see if I have a note, teacher.
Did you want to, I did see that Balaam reference too. Balaam the magician.
What's your reference? You were just making a comment?
Remember when you talked about the, how Laban was similar to Balaam the magician?
Mhm.
The curses.
No, they're in the same family.
Yeah.
They run through the same line. Yeah, well, I'm glad you saw that reference. I don't want to be up here lying to y'all. Somebody laughed at my joke.
We laughed.
Y'all laugh all the time at me, but no one laughs at my jokes. So I don't think I'm funny. I just think I'm a funny character or something.
We got friends.
I am. Thank you.
Also in the last, before chapter 32 comes up, he says the God of
Verse 32?
Chapter 32. Okay, yes.
chapter 32, the God of Abraham, the God of Nahor,
Mm-hmm.
and the God of their father judge between us. So Nahor and Abraham didn't have the same God.
Right.
Right. You into something now. Where you at? 32?
I'm at verse 30, chapter 31, verse 51 down to 55.
And
Go ahead.
let's read it. And Laban said to Jacob, but you're going to explain it. And Laban said to Jacob, behold, this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast between me and you. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to you, and that you shall not pass over this heap and this pillar to me for harm. The God of Abraham, so this is Laban speaking, right? The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father, Isaac. I see that. Okay, and you said 55? Okay.
And it's then Jacob.
Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mount and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. And Laban departed and returned to his place. Okay. You
Any
wanna-
comment on that?
I just wanted to make reference that the God of Nahor and the God of Abraham are not the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And they also distinguishes, he's placed in a heap and Jacob's placed in a pillar. You know, they're putting different things down. And it's like, it's basically a division, you know, and then you go on to God, your God and your country, and we're going back to our God and our country,
Right.
you know. Now I gotta go find a new idol.
Right, because somebody stole them, right? That's amazing. Excellent. They're
Swearing to the things, but we have to recognize it ends with Jacob swearing to his
Yes,
God's
allegiance to
father.
God.
Exactly. Amazing. It's like, that's why you have to read this slowly, and I wish, you know, we had time to read it all. But that's why you got to keep in the cycle of the Torah portion, because you may hit something one moment, the next year you'll hit something else. Okay. Now we got to get down to verse 32, chapter 32 to verse 3. Okay, and Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. Because God did say what? I'll go before you.
Yeah.
Right? And when Jacob saw them, he said, this is God's host. He was so excited every time he saw the Lord. And he called the name of the place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, to the land of Seir, the country of Edom. Okay, and we'll end our Torah portion there.
Okay.
You got a comment, sir?
Yeah, I just wanted to help out on that. When the question that Apostle had about when the dream took place, when he was talking to God about how to get that increase. I'll take it with someone. Is in chapter 31. You may have already said that. Chapter 31.
We can say it again.
Verse 10.
Chapter 31, verse 10.
Yeah. And it goes all the way down to verse 13.
Yeah. Chapter 31, verse 10 to 31. What? 13. I'm sorry. I said that backwards. Chapter
31. Verse 10.
Chapter 31, verse 10 to 13. Okay. Awesome. All right. Thanks for watching. You guys be blessed.
Hallelujah.